Hello and welcome back to another episode of my Alpha Centauri Let's Play. This is Northstar. I apologize if you hear some background noise. I'll get to that. A little bit of an explanation, I suppose, in a moment. Let's see. This needs to skip turn. This needs to skip turn. What is that? Key for that. Space bar. Can't use the sentry button or it loads the stupid thing into the... Let's use this so I don't accidentally skip turn from one. What actually? The ones that aren't terribly damaged can be backup. 20 and 10% if I lose units hunting mine worms in this valley. Well, anyways, this was on my mind, so I might as well say it. A thought. I don't like money. I don't mean... Sorry, scratching back my throat. I don't mean wealth or not being poor. I mean physical cash, dollar bills. It always seems to... It has like a dirty feeling to it. I mean, a lot of it is because if you ever do a bacterial swab on a lot of dollars, they're just absolutely gross, covered in all sorts of nasty bacteria, because it doesn't really ever get sanitized. It's basically pieces of paper, pieces of cotton with ink on them. Not very good ink usually. Just everything to minimize costs. Damaged uni rover, damaged, undamaged artifact. I had more units to hunt mine worms here. This. One move, 2/3. Yeah. If it gets damaged, it's gonna have to go back this way to heal, isn't it? You wanna move it. Excuse me, towards the future state of, I swear, sometimes the coughing, the sneezing, the sucks so hard. I don't know if you guys heard me sneeze there. Oh geez, my long COVID. I just got a million little irritating pie things I have to deal with.
Indigenous life form.
There's a mine worm. Where possible, I'll risk the scout patrols over rovers. Got some planet pearls, need those. Doing lots of investments in my economy with energy. It's about time I found a mine worm anyhow. Let's see. Got a colony pod to go to resettlement agency. Let's take care of that. Wish it wouldn't jump all over the place, the stupid order, and go all units in one geographic area. But yeah, but money is physically dirty and also can be symbolically. I live in the United States. As I've explained before, I'm also disabled while on COVID, which sucks. And I'm absolutely flat broke most of the time. So I don't have much money, I guess. Not saying don't. Please do like, subscribe, comment. I need this channel to get to where I can monetize it so I can survive. A bare minimum of money to survive is always necessary. But I feel like sometimes, living in the US, it's got to be just the most flat out corrupt, vile country where people are just perfectly okay. Let's see, I'm going to put the base there. Perfectly okay with people dying in the third world just so we can be wealthier here. And living their dissipate lives where they don't even give a shit about politics and such. Hence the next door neighbors, who are the source of background noise you might hear, they've of course stopped now, but they're playing blasting bass obnoxious party music for a while. As with my long COVID, I get noise sensitivity, that kind of thing, and it was really bothering me. Didn't used to quite experience that before. I mean, I never liked a lot of loud bassy noises, just a personal preference, but yeah, it screws with the brain's processing of information, and stuff like this can be much worse than it would be for a healthy person. Set to hunt for worms there. Didn't find any. That might not be for the worst. Let's see. What next? About to complete the condenser there. That'll make all these farms, which are finally all being worked, produce one more nutrient, and the one with the condenser, 2 more nutrients. I do have gene splicing finally. Took me long enough. Here's 2215. But this is I play a hybrid game style here is all. Well, I'm doing this run anyways, subscribed. And it's a good thing I did, because it turned out the Spartans are myself in the monsoon jungles. So they, the AI sucks at terraforming. Really sucks at it. If I'd had Kyrib's patch or was playing Thinkermod installed, it would be much different. People complain the game is too easy and always want to play Transcend. No, play on Thinker Librarian and install with AI patches. You have a much harder time with things. The main flaw with AI is just that they don't know how to terraform. But the monsoon jungle doesn't require that much terraforming. So the Spartans are actually something of a danger, although what they're doing is still guided by a certain role play. So they're building a huge military and it chokes their economy, but they will tend to go to war. Because they built such a large military, they decided to ignore me and attack the university, who were far weaker instead. Uh, if I hadn't built such a large military, I probably would have had the Spartans attack me and would have choked my economic development while the university would have happily typed away. So, was to my advantage, although it looks like they're going to conquer the university entirely, which means I may have to intervene very soon. Anyways, yeah, next turn, one more nutrient income, so 7 to go, they'll go to 5. Hole in this borehole. Oh, it's getting done this turn. So it'll be at 3, actually, and there'll be 8 nutrients to go. And then do 5, and then I could not work this tile for a turn and work a doctor if I really needed to, but why would I? Or there's nothing better to do, so I'll just keep working that tile. Even those excess nutrients could protect me if I get a famine event, which is very rare, but it can happen. If you have a biology lab, but there's 2 types of things. There's xenobite, and which a biology lab will protect against, and there's famines. By the way, I don't know how many of these I explained, or maybe 1 or 2 even named off camera. Xenobiology Institute can be a kind of outlying base. I mean, it is far from my others, to take advantage of the nutrient resources partly, but extend my borders this way. If it does end up being a longer piece of Sparta, though I doubt it will be. But one of the main uses of it, besides keeping an eye in this area, will be maybe supporting a few scout patrols or recon rovers that hunt for mine worms in this fungus. And by the time I get the spell, because this will be after most of my bases, I might be going green economy and actually capturing some of them. And so this is a reference to the possibility of capturing some mine worms, which are support free when they're on fungus tiles, or they can be disbanded for 25. Well, actually, it's a little bit less. It's 22, I think, under planned, because it's 2.5 rows. 18 plus 4 or 5, 22 or 23 minerals to disband a mine worm in a base. So I could keep them, or I could disband them for investments or traditional military units. Since this base needs defenses, I'd probably keep them and use the worms if the Spartans attack. And they may very well take the base from me if a war breaks out, but if it distracts enough of the army, it'll make it easier to maybe come in and take parade ground, and then this base will be cut off. Tactical sacrifices for... sacrifice 1 base for overall victory in the war. It's worth it. Sacrifices, and well, hopefully the base doesn't get wiped out when the Spartans capture it, and hopefully there's enough pops they can recapture it without it being destroyed. But if it's, say, size 3, it'll go down to size 1 from changing hands twice like that, meaning it will really set the base back in its growth a little. It's got a 3 nutrient tile there, 2 nutrient tile there. I might have 1 former around, but if I'm investing lots of formers, I'm investing, I suppose, I don't know if the Spartans will destroy. They'll probably destroy a farm I build. Probably, actually. There's no point in working a flat rainy tile, though, so probably 3, 2. Yeah, so might get to size 3 or 4 working 2 to 3 rolling moist tiles and that 1 nutrient bonus. Might not have time to grow that large. But hopefully it won't be destroyed by all this. I might be able to demand the base back in a peace settlement with Sparta if I take parade ground and they take xenobiology, it was always size 2 and it's down size 1, because if I try to retake it, it would just destroy the base. We'll see. I might delay building that. Budget agency is positioned right here on the river. Both a reference to bringing in money from mine worms and staying within my budget. I've been putting bases in places that need a lot more aggressive terraforming, and they're slower to move around. That can be expensive. Around Budget Institute here, there's a lot of spots that are good for just forests, which are much cheaper, and there's rivers to get the formers around. So I do have to remove fungus, unfortunately, for a lot of these tiles, but yeah, it should be able to actually work a couple of forests right off the bat. So there's that. Yeah, let's build this base. Secretariat. No. UN Amnesty Council, Customary Democracy, which I think I swapped to last turn. There's no free minerals, unfortunately. Start off with a former. Support this one from here. Force agency is going to work on the next colony pod. Erase the landmark of the same name as the base. It's just a placeholder. Seem to run the aquifer there. That'll probably run through the base. There's a farm here. It's not worth taking a turn to destroy. I'm not even sure if I can destroy it when it's on a base tile. It would slightly add to eco damage and provide no benefit, though. Yeah, you can build bases on forests, farms. I don't know. I don't think you can ever do it on xenofungus. But the forests and the farms, they just stay there. Forests will reduce eco damage. Farms will slightly increase them. I heard some discussion that you could actually do sensors on base tiles. I don't think you can build it on an existing base, so let's test that theory instead of assuming.
Invalid command.
That function cannot be accomplished at base. But apparently it might be possible to, if you build a base on a sensor, it may not destroy it. That would actually be useful. I don't know if that's, maybe people just avoid putting sensors near new bases, which is a very different story. Rolling rainy tile next to forest agency here. Ideal spot to chop for a farm. Go right into the queue for the base and provide 3 nutrients turn. Similar to this tile, actually, which is already a rolling rainy tile getting an aquifer. The base will grow. A very modest 5 turns, so. Let's see. Got a colony pod here. Colony pod there, and I'm working on one more, and that'll get these 3 bases. So Forest Agency is to do Terraforming Commission and Budget Agency. Terraforming Commission seems to be the most cost effective. There's some advanced terraforming area already it can use. This will become a 3 nutrient tile with the completion of this condenser. There's also over here a rainy rolling farm soon, and working on another there. But yeah, the balance in this game gets very screwed up on transcend difficulty. It's fundamentally a different game. Just like piss people act like that's the only difficulty matters. It's the difficulty that they're used to playing on because they think, oh, it's not hard enough. They should just install an AI mod. That should be standard. Do Kyrib's patch if you're on the base game. Or do Thinker mod if you're playing Alien Crossfire. I mean, it's just... And turn off all the custom options. Some of them change the game. It's ridiculous how bad the AI is at actually terraforming its terrain, which is why you see only tiny bits in the. I think the Spartans have all of 2 formers and not even 1 in production. Apparently, they had a 3rd they lost to mineworms or something, or maybe to the university. The Morganites lost a colony pod at some point. I guess that might explain why they're so underexpanded. Believers have 1 former. The university has 1 former, but it used to have 4, making it a front runner in former count. The hive has 9, which is actually decent. It's not good, but compared to my 31, but especially if they're planting, say, forests or just a few farms, they get a little bit of mileage out of that. I mean, they really should have more, at least 15 formers. They also have fewer bases than me. The guy ends up 7. That's definitely too low. Most of them have lost colony pods at some point. I've lost 4. Doesn't seem the university has ever lost a colony pod. But yeah, the hive lost 4 pods. The AI is clearly not escorting their colony pods through fungus, which is dumb. And it's probably another reason they're doing so poorly. I mean, even this fungus can spawn a mineworm. Potentially. Yeah, I was meaning to... God, I'm getting so annoyed. I'm gonna... I need to turn this down. This is obnoxiously... The ambience when I built a base. When I completely... Whatever jackass designed that. I'm not happy with it. And it's just repetitive. It needs to change. Like, okay, I built a base. No. Get over yourselves. I have other things I'd rather listen to than this. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's really annoying with my headphones on, which I need, for the mic near my mouth so you guys can actually hear me. Yeah, so with a police unit in World Food Program, I could put it right into a golden age, which would knock 7 nutrients off its growth queue. I want it to grow instantly. Okay. Well, it would just, at the beginning of next turn, it would. So I don't actually need the nutrient production it's got. It's 1, 2, too many. Need the minerals. So, this is not a situation of I'm just gonna have to waste some nutrients. Still, keep that scout patrol in place. It'll save a so there are more chances to spawn mined worms. Could just leave the forest agency one. I don't need this scout patrol there. So there's one in the base. And this guy. See, I'm doing a road there. There's gonna be a road there. Nope, didn't even succeed in moving to the former location. But I scout. Oh wait, you could have done it. You kidding me? Could have done this turn if I just let the road happen first. Terraform complete. Right, it really needs to tell you what terraform completes where. I think it was the forest. There we go with the stupid road. Ah. It's incredibly noxious. Oh, as long as the form doesn't get attacked. This turn, next. Because it would have otherwise been guaranteed to get here and then move there, at least. Might see if it's coming next turn to make sure the scout goes where it should have been. This is just bullshit. I hate that you can't select a former without it canceling its forming and you lose all progress. That was better in Civ 4 at least. Can't say that about a ton of things in the game, but definitely that. But yeah, so it pisses me off the degree to which people live their stupid dispit lives. And I mean, obviously, this is not all Americans. I'm an American. I care about these things. I'm sure maybe viewers do. But there's a segment of the population that's just, quote, apathetic about politics. And apathy is a political choice. It's not actually not caring in the sense that none of it matters to you. It's people who are apathetic really secretly usually have terrible beliefs about politics. They don't care that people are, again, dying like in the third world for their lifestyle. And by that I mean don't care not as in it's a no concern to them, because it clearly matters and it's relevant, but as in they have no empathy for these people. And they probably have no concern for what's currently going on with freaking Trump now sending Marines to California and trying to arrest Gavin Newsom, apparently. What the hell? Just heard about this from someone else. I need to check the news articles myself, but Like, that's fascist shit. And there's a segment of the population that still doesn't care. Like, these asshole neighbors, they're probably still completely in trouble because they would actually probably like a fascist America. So they're not going to make any noise as long as they get their lavish lifestyles. While me, literally their neighbor, is at risk of not being able to economically survive with my long COVID, that the government is cutting research funding for that and all other medical research. And my elderly family member I'm staying with is freaking struggling just to keep the house, in good order. But you don't see anyone coming over and volunteering to help out like any good neighbors because, well, people in this suburban town are many of them shitheads, always think about themselves and will never, find elderly people who need help and give them a hand. At least a lot of Americans, I know it's surprisingly common for people to help like elderly neighbors, but not in this shitty community. I was a Boy Scout once upon a time, and I remember this part of the country because I did grow up around this area, and it was always like amazing. You had to freaking offer people the opportunity to like advance in scouting to even get a lot of these young people to give it enough of a shit to want to help anyone else. It's like, don't you care about people? My greater struggle was always just being able to get the organizational approval for like bigger projects. Little things were just something you did, even when there was nothing to gain from it. Indeed, I did so many help with so many service projects through scouting that many people were just doing to advance the ranks, but I just helped. You also have to do a certain number of hours just to advance each ranks, but I would do like 20 times that because, I want to help people who can't make everything about yourself in life. Like these people only did stuff for sake of advance. Pissed me off. I don't know. Good people are surprisingly rare in the world, I guess. Certainly in the West, where we have these cultures of like having run empires, and especially European empires, but here in the US, we have a neo-colonial empire. You can't wrap your head around something like that without basically selling your soul to my material comforts are more important than the oppression of people who are getting paid like 1/40th the value they produce in sweatshops in, Africa or Asia or Latin America. U.S. is already trying to delegitimize the Mexican government for doing judicial elections, trying to actually, make things less corrupt and less controlled by foreign multinational corporations that bribe judges and shit, because that's part of the corruption there. Also, crime syndicates, cartels, which the U.S. only says Mexico must do something about the drug cartels, but they try and actually do something about it. No, not like that. God, you have like the fucking New York Times and shit trying to partake in the propaganda because they're not really, they're liberals. They want maybe not racial oppression here at home, but they have no problem with empire abroad. That's liberalism for you. One of the many reasons I'm a Marxist at this point. Marxist democratic socialist. I think this former's going to have to risk moving here, or should just double up on this tile. It's going to be complete pretty soon. Chances getting bounced are pretty high there. I got a lot of work to do here. Condenser here. Echelon mirror here. People never build echelon mirrors and then they go crazy about how much energy they get from forests. Even though solar panels plus echelon mirrors plus farms, you're getting more energy, more nutrients. The only thing you're getting a little less of is minerals. And you you throw in some farm mines, and you'll have fewer minerals per pop, but you have more pops. But of course, as I said, the balance is horrendously screwed up on Transcend, so you can't support that many pops on it, which is why it's not the game the way it's meant to be played. It pisses me off that people only play that and think they know everything about this game. Obviously, in Transcend, you have to do Force because you can't keep a large pop. Even of size 4 base will be unhappy. For most factions, Transcend, you can't go beyond size 2 with a police unit for base. So you get these tiny base spam. It's the only way to do anything in the early game until you get wreck commons. And then you're limited to size 4 unless you got the Human Genome Project, which you can snatch from the AI because they're terrible, but only because these people don't use AI mods. With AI mods, AI would absolutely beat the Human Genome Project quite often, especially if you don't design the map for your advantage. The map of Charon is actually better than most random maps, which are just freaking. Usually end up being these island maps, like much smaller land masses than Charon, that are just ideally suited for the playstyle of a certain sort of player who does Transcend. They don't even win on maps that are not to their playstyle. They say, oh, it's the average default settings. Middle of the road doesn't mean default. They should choose lower sea cover, so they have bigger land masses, and lower erosion, because the map generator doesn't generate any mounds to speak of unless you set erosion to low on random maps. Just tiny hills. Anyways, condenser. That was gonna be condenser. Borehole. Probably also borehole here. So I guess borehole and then raise train. Could also be a farm condenser, and then no, there'll probably be small other tiles are rolling for that. Of course, if I put a borehole there, I can't put one. I could probably fit 2 in. Otherwise, maybe 1 here, 1 here, since this is a condenser. Yeah. Give me a moment. Yeah, wait, just stare at that for a second. I'm gonna. Darn it. Of course, I figured this thing would probably get bounced in my luck, but I realized most things I'm going to be doing involve the formers moving onto fungus tile and clearing it, so I might as well get started there. Let's see. These are all going to be moist, so yeah, terraforming plan does involve remove the fungus first. Another condenser there. Creating 2 rainy tiles. Whole row of rainy tiles, which all get solar panels probably. I'm just going to raise this tile up. I guess I should do it after a borehole. I keep saying that after borehole, but it's probably not a good spot for one anyways, so. That was probably they're going to be. I suppose I could do a condenser forest. So probably raise the tile up first thing. Get the base built. See what the other tiles are. And yeah. So here, after I've cleared this forest, maybe do a road. There's enough time to help the colony pod on its way to budget agency. And a road here. So go 1, 2, 3, 1. And then build the base. Turn advantage is slightly less important on text destination than without, but it still matters a lot. Yeah, this one was going to collect this artifact. Oh, another pod. Another pod still. Okay. Moving the diagonals so can reveal more tiles in case of isles of the deep in the area. If I spot one out in the open, I could have attacked it with the laser foil. Guess I better keep my eyes open. And I'll guard this since this is a non-combat unit, so it fights very poorly. There's no collateral damage at sea anyhow. And they can all hang out there for a turn. Load next turn. Yep. So I apologize for the venting, but ooh, a pod. I'm sure you see some pricks that say stuff along the lines of, oh, I just don't like people having a good time. Nonsense. I just don't like the losses going on. People are dying in Gaza. And by the way, news, which is current now when this post will be like 4 months old. So buffer on these videos. He just had Greta Thunberg and her ship get boarded by the Israelis trying to bring food aid to Gaza. At least they didn't kill anyone on board, which the Israelis did before in 2009 to an aid ship doing the same thing, and they killed 10 people. The Midnight Commando raid on just a bunch of unarmed activists. Shot 10 of them. 9 of them died instantly. 1 died in the hospital later, in a coma months later. I don't know if it was a medically induced coma because the injuries are so bad, or just due to the brain losing oxygen too much, which can happen with severe trauma. But yeah, they murdered 10 people, straight murdered them in 2009. So this is not new. The violence against activists and the genocidal nature of the Israeli regime, it's been going on for a very long time. I mean, ever since, was it 1948, the Nakba? Israel went and frickin' drove like 700,000 people off their land and burned whole villages to ground and murdered people in cold blood. This is the Zionist militias that, in many cases, illegally traveled to Palestine and armed themselves and then rose up after the British started to waffle about giving them their own state because there were already people there and public opinion in the UK had started to swing around in favor of the Palestinians. So the Zionists saw they were losing their moment and engaged in armed rebellion, took control of the country. The British just kind of let it happen and didn't really oppose it. Pulled out of the country, in fact, when this happened, and established the State of Israel. And then that was retroactively recognized by the UN, but it shouldn't have been. It was a crimes against humanity that the country was built on. And there were other places. They wanted a country of their own, fine. The Soviets set aside a huge block of land in the Far East that they're like, here, no one lives here. There were actually about 1,000 people, but it was a area bigger than Palestine, 1,000 people in the whole area. So not nearly as bad as, millions of people. Here, no one lives here. You can have this land. And they actually did set up the Jewish Oblast in the Soviet Far East. And there was discussion of U.S. carving out an area in like the middle of the country or up in Alaska. There were other places that were not inhabited that maybe didn't have the same religious significance, but you don't get to steal land from people just because it's got religious significance. And then ethnically cleanse it and engage in genocide. It's not anti-Semitism to criticize that, no. Being Zionist is not synonymous with being Jewish. In fact, Albert Einstein was a prominent Jewish person who became a major critic of Israel and Zionism, of political Zionism. He's a great example, even though early on he considered himself a cultural Zionist, but then which is different than political Zionist, he became a huge critic of Israel and said it was ruled by criminals and fascists. Those were like almost verbatim what he said about Israel. And that was in like 1951 he wrote that. It's been going on for a long time. So not surprised they would board aid ship. I mean, they could have just searched the ship and let them continue on their way if they actually cared about people not starving. Be like, oh, sure, we're not having to pay for this aid. We're not having to do much. We'll just let you in. No, they absolutely are trying to starve the people. And the only aid they allowed had this thing where they put people behind barbed wire and made them wait hours. And when they started to get unruly, started shooting them and created a panic. And it's ridiculous. They're not trying to help the people at all. They're trying to starve them to death. It's genocide. Just like, I mean, in the Holocaust, Jewish people were starved to death in the concentration camps. Have they not learned that they shouldn't turn around and perpetuate the same violence against others that was done against them? Unfortunately, this is the way of history that too often the victims become the victimizers a generation or two later. Oh, we can't be the victims again, so we have to turn evil and do the same shit to other people as was done to us. And again, it's got nothing to do with being Jewish. There's culture after culture that has done this throughout history. Victim become the victimizer. It's a sad repeating trope in world history. Let's hurry this. Have a transcreation. World Health Organization will boom. But we need nutrients for it. That just means rearranging the tile assignments. Like if I did this, it would grow. Pretty sure it won't grow next turn even if I did that now. Could be wrong. Guess nutrients have their value anyways. Get an energy credit, get an extra nutrient, lose 1 mineral. I mean 2 mineral, 1 there. Oh no, there's gonna be a farm. So actually that'd be the same nutrients either way. Never mind. there's 9 mineral surplus here. I should get support from you, from the headquarters. Turn that into 10. Headquarters is about to grow, and then they'll be fine. Of minerals, I could super rush if I had the money here. Buy 8 minerals, then finish it next turn. Keywords are if I had the money. If I were a rich man. La, da, 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 da. Like I said, it's not. I was talking specifically about cash, but it's worth noting the money you get in this game. It's comes from the labor of the Believer pops, Morgan pops, Gaian pops. That's a lot of solar panels the Gaians have set up. By the way, you can't. Well, with Centauri side you can, but there's not actually solar panels on fungus here. It's that the map hasn't been updated, so there could be farms under those solar panels. But yeah, people do hard labor, and I just get the money on a balance sheet and then invest it. It's not, I guess some of my own people use the money to do more hard labor. It's not coming out of nowhere. It's worth remembering. Yep, terraform down.
Terraform complete.
Planetary trust. What? And minerals to defense command? What did I just finish? Not that. That or that. Oh. Okay, that's not near planetary trust at all. It's near you in headquarters. The condenser. Yo, the condenser's done. It's a 3 nutrient, 1 mineral tile. Next growth piece size 7 to 8. 8 times 6. 48 nutrients. Turn. I probably want that for the trade, but boom. Well, that put me in a mineral shortfall. Never mind. Of course, wasn't that? I think this is a moist tile before. Now it's rainy. So I'm not done. I'm gonna put a farm here on this condenser next. Pretty sure these were also moist. Now also rainy. More nutrients. 15 nutrients to go in the growth. Excuse me. Suppose I could swap that out later to avoid wasting nutrients. Get some more lab points. Do I want to remove this fungus patch? Doesn't serve much purpose. I guess it would just be another forest tile, probably. Can't even get it into a forest condenser benefit destroying a farm, so eh. Although I could lower it. Lower the elevation on top. It would bring this down. There's no solar panels there yet. Give me a moment. Okay, yeah, it is a good spot for a borehole. Probably upgrade that to fungicidal formers next turn. And then start removing fungus right away. Well, actually, then lower the terrain, then... No, remove fungus, then lower, then borehole. Or to avoid spending the energy of the upgrade, which is more, and actually, maybe I'll lower it and then remove the fungus. That'd probably be smarter. Keep more energy longer, use it for other stuff. But anyways, I will end up wanting to raise the terrain back up in the future. So kind of to the height of this sensor right here, I want to raise it back up, or I could raise something like this tile. Or this one. And also up here for solar panels. But I won't destroy the borehole, turning it back into a slope tile again, and boreholes are incredibly useful. High mineral, high energy output. Not that far from ecological engineering, so I'm starting to do the work on digging those, like here, even where. But no, I immediately swore. Maybe I'd just do a forest for now. I don't know. Doing a forest just to chop it right back down. Let's see. Forest is 3 turns of work, and I get 5 minerals for it. It's not worth it to like plant forests again if you're just doing it for the minerals and you're not going to work the farm. But it can be useful to plant a forest before chopping down if you have something else planned. And sorry with the mic bumps, the borehole won't be useful for a while. Yeah, so maybe I'll just tear up the fungus, plant a forest. Maybe I'll come back here later for borehole, but forest will be useful for a while. Monitoring agency will be booming up soon, and oh yeah, should do this. No need for the nutrient surplus when I'm gonna do the creche. It's actually kind of dumb me that I didn't do that turn earlier, but mistakes made. Can only reach size 7 though without extra nutrients from a condenser or such. That's the thing. Oh yeah, I was going to put a condenser at the bottom of that hill. Though. So I have 1 nutrient here. Probably switch to working this. Anyhow, that'll be a farm. So it'll be 2 surplus then. because if it was getting 12 nutrients already with the current amount of labor, and then 14, 16, 18, yeah, we'd be able to boom right to size 9. Just with one condenser farm down at the bottom of the hill. And these higher up ones could do solar panels, I suppose. It's probably be a condenser farm on these rolling moist tiles, at least one of them. There's arid terrain there, so yeah, definitely if I'm ever going to farm it, need condensers. Probably one here next to Centauri, and then anyhow. So the yawning. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have stuck the former here on this fungus. Maybe. Depends if I wanted to go into a solar panel here, which should be a raining tile for that little extra energy to monitoring agency, which eventually go into running some psych to keep the base happy. Once we get a hab complex, we'll need a little bit of solar energy production. Yeah, maybe. It's alright. We'll see. We'll see. In this case, this route was as good as going through here. It's alright, I think. This 7 turns to go. Yeah, this will get done sometime midway through the 4th turn. Alright, yeah. There's a former here. That's right. Oh. I think I have an idea for... No, that doesn't work. This bike I could do... This tile's next to... I could get the solar panel on a road. Do a road here since the former's here. Doesn't make a lot of sense though. Let's just build like a base out here to work this borehole. Should be a road due north. Give me a moment. Yeah, no, I was being dumb. after industrial automation here, I already have everything I need for ecological engineering. I can remove mineral limits, then environmental economics for energy limits, and boreholes will be extremely profitable. Probably some of the most profitable techs. I know people talk about tree farms, but I've invested heavily in formers to do more advanced terraforming. I've done farm mines because I had some raining tiles right at my start, which is fortuitous, and I forget if I like raised a little rain to make it rainier there. I don't think so, but it's been a while since the earlier years. The mines obviously helped with snowballing and get the same minerals as a forest, but the farms helped with also growing pops at the same rate. And I needed it because even with that heavy emphasis on nutrient and mineral growth at the expense of tech, I still had the Spartans snap up all this monsoon jungle. I mean, they actually started right at the edge of it and become a major threat early on, and barely got my economy big enough that I was able to both build the military I needed to hold them off. Although I may have slightly overbuilt it and still keep my economic development going, not completely choke my economy to do that. So, yeah. Optimal terraforming is always based on your particular situation. And in this case, I actually knew the monsoon jungle being south, so I really need early rapid pop growth. And by getting the weather paradigm, I was able to build the farm mine combos at reasonable cost. People complain about them, and they build a tree farm. A tree farm is 12 minerals, so 120 minerals if you're not running planned. 120. The effective cost of a farm mine combo, it's 12 form returns if you don't have the weather paradigm. And with it, it's 9. I think since each form return is worth around 1 mineral, it means a farm mine is worth costs 1/10 of what a tree farm does, and you can do it much sooner, so it pays for itself sooner. And it doesn't have energy upkeep. Yeah, people just are dumb. They just don't like mines. Forests look pretty, and I agree the way it does kind of look nice against the backdrop of the red. But, you do mines only where you have lots of raining tiles, and that's dark green anyhow anyways, once you remove the fungus from it. Raining tiles are very dark, nice dark green, as you can see. Anyways. Boom. So I'll probably dig 4 holes here and here. I'll have to lower the terrain here first. Get started on that stuff. So then you're going to raise the terrain here. Should be able to fit maybe another 4 hole. Can't be adjacent to the one here or here. There'll be one here and there'll be one here. So lots of boreholes, and a lot of it on reclaimed land because it's harder to do a borehole along a mountain ridge. And if you still want to get decent solar output, you have to raise the land back up in areas that aren't boreholed. So, yeah. Boom. That prevents mineworm spawns, but if I'd gotten one, which I was almost hoping I had rovers here that could take down the mineworm there, so I was hunting for mineworms, that scout rover, as well as guarding the formers. Yeah, it's kind of nice just to get rid of all this fungus too. The fact that this will be cleared, this will be cleared, this has already been cleared. This will be cleared before too much longer. Something satisfying by ripping the fungus up instead of waiting for forest to very gradually and irregularly displace it. Not to mention you get better yields. Something viscerally satisfying about it. To me, anyhow. What? Why did that fail? Did it only have one move left? Yeah. Yeah, it did. It has 2 movement, but I'd rebased it and forgotten about it. Boom. 3 probe teams. Probably doesn't matter where the probe team is based from. In case I'm wrong, it doesn't hurt to rebase this one. Should probably find out if this rover finds mine worms and dies before I... Nope. Go by this way, though, in case there were to be, say, a mine worm attack this that somehow survived. Possible, though, unlikely. Needed to go back here to heal. And the probe team would be protected for a turn. If it tried to... If it decided to wait before moving south. I don't know. I do not know. More likely, next turn I try and have this hunt for worms. If it finds them, it goes back and falls back there. If it finds them and still has a move left. Wouldn't hurt to delay the probe team slightly to make sure it's safe. Probably wouldn't hurt. Alright, that graphics glitch is annoying. Thought about sending another one this way, but one probe team taking the danger star is probably enough. I don't need to risk losing more than one. Yeah, this probe team has... I mean, this rover hasn't been kicked out yet, so I could have used it. Santiago is annoyed, but I could have used it to protect against patrols for the probe teams, because they can't move into the tile without starting a war. Good to know. Alright, guess let's look for... There's that patrol. Now I've located it. At least I know where not to go. Actually, there's a tile in between. I could go here. Just not. Oh. Boom. Spaces are in drone riots. Playground. I guess because it just grew, it should actually be fine. Next turn. Stand it, but none for the riots. What to do with prairie ground? I guess I can come back to that. Second. So that mind worm, apparently it was still in position because it stayed in place to heal rather than move. Is apparently what was going on there. Can hit parade ground with 2 probe teams this turn, actually. Both of the fast ones here and here. Almost certainly should. Given that they're trying to get a... No, this can't reach the parade ground next turn. I was thinking they're trying to get a unit here to deal with the probe teams. They do have a synth metal garrison, but... Why does the Spartan one look so less awkward? Probe teams can move into base on a third move reliably, it seems, so I guess I should go there. Or maybe I've just gone lucky so far. Let's find out. Probe team is linked to Spartan network as awaiting instructions. We can incite drone riots. Procure research data. Do they even have any text to steal? A second. See their tech list. Nope. They got nothing to steal. They have a little energy. There's nothing really to sabotage. Take 2 minerals. They're already in drone riots. I don't know if that would cause a drone revolt. Could do a mind control probe. Make the base mine and probably start a war. Let's see about draining energy reserves. If detected, provide justification for war. Alright, I don't know what these numbers mean. I think the first is the chance of success and the second of not being detected.
Mission accomplished.
Wait, okay. Yeah, so that probably was the detection chance. And then we steal 12? Yeah, not worth it. Sorry if that seems like the seems gonna be nonsense. I want to see what each of these things do. What does insane drone riots do? They're already in a riot.
Mission accomplished.
She declares war on me again. How'd she know? And this doesn't even unmodified. This doesn't even make the drone riots worse. Okay. Uh, I thought because it already infiltrated their databanks, I could steal their world map. That's what I was hoping for, but it's not an option. Da, 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 da. Let's see what procure research data does. Oh,
Mission accomplished.
procure research data gives you their world map. And she still declares war on me for that. Right. Well, I didn't lose integrity for it, did I? I'd rather have a world map than 12 energy. That's nothing. She's the military leader again, so she has surpassed me in might. Yep, they got promoted to commando. Integrity, noble. Yeah, I didn't lose integrity. Santiago declared war. I did want to try something though. Hopefully I can replicate that. Mostly I wanted to see what that did. Huh? I was gonna try and bully her into giving me credits. Hmm. I cannot.
Probe team compromised.
Oh. Okay, so there's a. So then what's the first number if that's not the chance of success?
Probe team compromised.
That's a weird looking. Yeah, I mean, they survived before. I just wanted to see what the different things would do. How much does it cost to mind control?
Insufficient energy.
353 energy for that base? Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Vendetta upon you. You should pay for your persistent meddling. Okay. So war has broken out over my probe actions. I mean, I figured something like that might. I've got a commando class recon rover sitting right here, ready to hit them. All their soldiers are down fighting the university. I've got units already in their territory. That was dumb of them. Commissioner Law wins the first Peacekeeper battle victory. Sister Miriam already won the first battle, planetary battle in 2141. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't it have had another move? I don't know. Recon rovers in open terrain, meaning they get a plus 25% open terrain combat strength bonus.